Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue 4, page 1 and 2, director's commentary. My name is Keenan Lafferty.
My name is Colton Kresser.
And what are we going to be doing today, Colton?
We're going to be talking about some things.
Many things.
The things that we're going to be talking about it's been a long time coming.
Yes,
it has
been. It's been too long, in fact.
It's almost, it's like a...
Or maybe just long enough.
Yeah.
Maybe just long enough.
It feels weird, like, doing this again. I don't know, I feel kind of uneasy right now.
I know, it's, we haven't done one of these in a while.
I know,
let alone a page and a director's commentary.
Mm-hmm. It was funny, because last night he was like, when do you want to do the behind the scenes? And I was like, what? Because I thought you were talking
We do
about,
have to do it behind the scenes,
Yeah, we got to do a new one. But
which we do have an idea for.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah.
Hey, you like how I fixed the camera up here? It's nice and wide.
Yeah, widescreen, so we don't
have to like lean into each other.
Like sit next to each other.
I don't know. People probably thought it was cute, but
I don't know.
Yeah, now we can at least.
It's not cute anymore.
We can be comfortable now.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to make it work. Okay, so
this is like deluxe edition. This is page 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Normally it's just one page.
Yeah, normally it's one page, but today we've got 2 pages to go over, and well, we only have time lapse from this one, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the other one. But as you know, the pages don't always start out like this. You know, with the completed art, nice colors, and just the most amazing dialogue this world has ever seen.
In fact,
it starts like this.
It's more humble than this.
It starts from humble beginnings. It starts like this. Yeah. So, I'm really happy that we finally got to start issue 4. And one of the biggest things that I noticed in the very beginning was that, oh crap, I need to treat this as though someone just picked this up off the shelf
like
and doesn't know what happened in issue 3. So it's like, because I was planning on starting with this page right here.
Yeah, like first page.
And where it would make sense with the online comic, because you're easily reading and you're clicking over, or doing the infinite scroll. Somebody like, if you just pick this up and this was the first page of the comic, they'd be like, where is this?
Yeah,
like what's happening?
When is this?
Why are they at like some dinner party? Like, and somebody actually, I think it was you who brought up a good question. Is like, are they even sailing? Like, did they even leave?
Oh yeah, I think it has
the land.
Have they left yet?
I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, they're sailing. They're going somewhere.
Right.
They're going somewhere. Like, didn't you know that? They're like, well, how would I know? Like, you never showed a picture of the boat sailing. So I was like, oh yeah, all right. Cool, so I decided to throw that in there, and
it's a good, like you were saying, like it's a good page. It sets the scene, sets the mood. It's like it's the, I'm trying to remember, establishing shot.
Yeah,
it's an establishing shot. It shows, okay, they're on the ocean, they're sailing. It is dark, the moon is out.
They sail.
Yeah, they're sailing. You know, and
they're sailors. They sail.
I want to say, I'm sailing. I want to say, like, from the beginning of the very first page to, like, right now, even though it's been almost 2 years that Emma's been around, it's really only been a few hours in the comic, yeah. You know, because you think, like, she woke up, they rode their Harleys most of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to start the time-lapse while you're talking.
Yeah, they rode their Harleys most of the day, went to the gas station around the evening time, made it to the ship by... I want to say around like
blew up Jimmy's head.
Yeah, blew up Jimmy's head. 9, 10 o'clock.
That took a while.
They made it to.
Made it back in time.
For dinner. You know, they're having like a party now, and I imagine the party that maybe has lasted a few hours. It's probably like midnight, 1 in the morning now. They're sailing and
way past the kids' bedtime.
Yeah, that's why they're they shouldn't be out. Yeah,
that's why they're stirring up trouble.
Yeah,
these kids are up.
Past
their curfew.
And so now. We're coming to a very, very important plot point.
Yeah,
in the scene.
Dude, I should have just left that panel like that. Look at that genius. I love the Yoshi eyes coming off
from his head,
coming off the buttons there.
Button has not 1 but 2 wandering eyes.
Yeah. This is, like I said before, this is when all the genius just flows out of me.
Well, that's accurate. Right, that's accurate because he's dead. You know.
Yeah, basically.
So that's the way that goes.
That's what we'll be finding out soon. Well, again, you know, a lot of people still don't know that he's dead. I'm thinking about going back. The way that I went back and changed up or like fixed the or issue 1's artwork. I'm thinking about going into issue 2 and making Buttons look even more dead. Like actually having like part of his
like decomposed,
bone showing like on his thing, maybe like a couple of his teeth,
like missing exposed.
Yeah,
like his like lip or something.
Because right now he just looks like a white dog. He just looks kind of like an old white dog. So yeah, I think sometimes you just gotta drive the point home. You know, drive the point home, because I forget that even when the page is like that big, people are only looking at it for like a split second. So you got to make sure that it's very, very obvious.
Do you want to
big plot points?
Do you want to talk about your like thought process during the creation of the panels and stuff? Like actually like the fine detail.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about this panel right here, since this is the one that I'm working on. Again, this has to do with the fact that someone's going to be picking up this issue and looking at it for the first time, and we haven't seen Clem's face yet. Like originally, I was just going to have him talking on the stage. But someone who hasn't seen this comic before is like, who is this guy? So I knew that I had to put a panel here.
In there.
Sort of like an anime thing to do, or like it's like the bubble, or the person's talking and then there's like a little bubble of their face, like a close-up of it. So I decided I was going to do that. But as far as the actual panel layout, I always love when I can do this. I love when I can reuse backgrounds. I was actually
swipe it up.
Yeah, I was actually considering using the last buttons panel from issue 3, but it looked weird next to the other ones because it was like really highly detailed, because it was a giant page
it was the
being
pile
shrunk down. Yeah, being shrunk down. It sounds funny, but it's almost like I had to have less detail here.
Right.
So I had to redraw it. So basically the same style, but yeah, the treasure and everything was very much more simple. So, and then I wished away those awesome blue pencils to Australia. To Australia in the evening, and then got them back from my awesome line artist, Alicia.
What's nice about that is that the time difference is when it's in the evening here, it's early morning in Australia. So when Keenan sends those off to Alicia,
when I send them off and demand that they are done in the morning,
he can sleep. Like it's nice because it's like no time wasted. You know, like if you would sleep and then you have to wake up and work on it, it's like he can sleep and wake up and it's done, and then just get
that's really
masking and stuff.
That's really cool.
So Alicia,
so I can wake up and get right to work. You know, we both know how important that is.
Wake up, get right to work.
You got to be able to do that.
But yeah, special thanks, shout out to Alicia.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia.
She's doing a really good job.
She's so good. Like her line art I think is better than mine. She has surpassed the teacher. It's like when I sit down to try to do lines, I'm like referencing Alicia's.
Yeah, pulls up some of her artwork. Yeah. You want to talk about how you have a hard time admitting that someone else is better at something?
Oh yeah,
like line art and stuff.
What was that specifically?
Oh, you were trying to tell me that you were working on dialogue, because I haven't worked on the comic.
Oh yeah,
because I've been doing my own like YouTube
stuff.
So
this is Oh, so you want me to talk about you?
No, I mean not about me. I just thought it was interesting that you mentioned me the other night, and that you also mentioned Alicia just barely. And now you're like, dang dude, she's so good.
Yeah. Okay, so like Colton said, so that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get back to this, because we are going to be talking about
this one.
Dialogue. We're talking about dialogue. So, yeah, I remember when I was starting this, I was like, all right, I know what these characters are going to be saying. I remember some of the things that Colton said that he wanted the characters to say. But then we
hadn't talked about it in a long time. Like, it's been like a month and a half since we even
It's been a little while. But when it comes down to nailing down fine details and just like really portraying character, Colton is really good at that. He really excels at it, especially with like Clem and like the Marauder characters. I feel like you're just really good at like imitating. He like talks in the voice while he's doing it, so it's really good. And it's nice to hear, but I have a problem where I don't like to admit that people can do stuff better than me. So I'm like, Colton's busy, you know. He's doing his own YouTube channel now. It's like I can handle this. I can handle this by myself. Colton, don't worry. You can stay over there, do your thing. I'll handle the comic. So I try to figure this out, and then it's like I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know what the heck. I laid some stuff in. It was just so cheesy. It was so lame, and I was like, all right, hey, Colton, Colton, I need help.
I was like at the apartment. He's like, hey, can you help me for a second? And I was like, sure. And then he's like, I don't know what they're gonna say or something like that.
Yeah, I needed help transitioning from this page into this page, and the result was actually quite nice. I was actually really satisfied with the result. So while we're on this, let's talk a little bit more about the dialogue, specifically what we did with Clem, and then I really liked what Nico says here too.
Yeah.
But do you want to start with Clem?
Let's start with the first page. Yeah. So right here we had the picture of obviously the ship riding with the moon and the ocean and everything, and
that moon is big. I wasn't planning on making the moon big at first.
That looks tight though. Like when I saw that, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I didn't want it to make the ship look small.
Oh yeah. Because the cruise ship, you gotta think is huge. That's like the Titanic.
So I was thinking about making the moon small, but it looks so much more dramatic with the big moon.
Yeah, it's like the Titanic and Nico's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Totally. Yeah.
But so for this one, he was like, I want to have like some dialogue like coming from the ship like this, and it's really long, and it kind of is just like leading into like the party or something, or I don't remember what the original plan was that we were gonna say. Because I think you had something, and I liked it, but the reason
I didn't have anything.
I think you had like an idea.
I was going off of this. All right, I hope you're all enjoying yourselves.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I write in little simple things.
Right.
I
remember it was something like that, and I was like, okay, I feel like that works. But then like something that crossed my mind is I was like, wait, what does the very last panel or the last page look like? So we looked at the last page, and the only thing he says is like, feast your eyes, and so I was like, okay, so. If you say, "Are you all having a good time?" It's like, why would he say that? Like,
oh yeah,
right after he said, "Feast your eyes" or whatever, And so
that's true.
I changed it to like, I was like, what if like he was just like screaming at the top of his lungs, like he's like, "Feast your eyes," and everyone's like, "Wow!" Right? And then he's like, "Is that not the biggest battle we've ever seen?"
Yeah.
He's just like screaming, like getting everybody like super hyped, like a pep rally or something like that.
Yeah, and this being the first page of the next issue, I'm glad that we brought up the loot again, because it's like you have to reestablish everything.
Yeah, so like
because it's like, hey, y'all having a good time tonight, and then it's like there's some treasure,
like,
but you never acknowledge it. You're like, okay, so what's going on here?
But it leads into it. So if he's like, is that not the biggest pile you've ever seen? And then you see the treasure. It's like, if you're reading that, you know, okay, something happened in the last issue where they got treasure. So I'm going to go read that because I want to know. It like leads back into it.
That was totally not on purpose, but I realized how awesome it is now. It made sense. It made sense.
Totally subconscious.
It made sense to me.
I thought about that, But
cool.
Yeah, so leading into this one, reuse the background. Nothing new there.
Yeah. Thank heaven. Mm-hmm. I was dreading drawing that thing again.
Yeah. So everybody's like freaking out, like losing their minds, and then if you guys remember in the very last one, Emma like sees buttons, and then the very last panel is like him just on top of the treasure pile
with some outrageous gems next to him.
And so now she's like got into this worried state, like, oh my goodness, that's my puppy. Mm-hmm. I gotta go get him, and stuff. So she's like, Nico, Buttons is up there, and then it like zooms in on him, and she's like, I gotta save him.
I like how Emma shakes Nico.
Yeah, he's like, oh, imagine he's like, look, and stuff, and he's just like, whoa, So really she's like, I gotta save him, and then he kind of was like, who? Because he can't see because there's like stage lights and stuff, so he's like trying to look.
He doesn't know who Buttons is.
Yeah, he doesn't know who Buttons is.
Like, what's up, Buttons?
Yeah, and he's like, who's up where now? And then like he like looks around, like looks back at her to like confirm like who's up where, and then she's gone, and so he like spins around. And he's like,
yeah, yeah, that was really cool.
So it definitely leads up like the forthcoming pages.
I remember we were talking about doing this a long time ago. Like, how long has it been since we did the last page? Has it been like three months, maybe?
I think, yeah.
I feel like it's been like 2 or 3 months.
I feel like it's been, I want to say 2, but it might have been longer.
I think it's 2.5.
Yeah, like 2.5.
2.5.
Meet in the middle.
Yeah.
2.5. So, I mean, it's been definitely a while, but this is one of those scenes we talked about. Just like I remember last Christmas talking about the ballroom scene. Uh-huh. And then the ballroom scene happens and it's over and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're like...
And now we're looking forward to other scenes. And now we're going to get there and then it's going to be over and done. And then we're always going to be looking forward to
pretty soon the comic is going to end and we're going to be like, well, that was it?
Yeah, well, now what?
Yeah, I know.
Like, we should just make another or something.
So...
Should we just make shade or something? Yeah. We have a bunch of ideas. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I want to make shade.
First?
Yeah, I want to do something else.
Okay.
But that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple things that we missed in the time lapse that I'm kind of bummed that I didn't fully get on there was it ended at the masking stage. I added in like the gradients, the fine details and like the gradients. This is always really fun, where I get to light the characters and just kind of creating this rim light along them, and just kind of bringing them into the world. It's really cool to kind of flip back and forth like earlier in the histories as I'm working.
And see what it
and kind of take a look at the differences between the two, and it is pretty dang cool.
Go back down. So, did you do this on purpose? Did you get those like line flicks from this panel into those?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
No. I need to fix that.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Oh. I mean, yes. I totally get. I'm glad you noticed my
Yeah.
genius. I'm glad you noticed. I meant to do that because it is subliminally pulling
You
everything
from every panel.
from here. Yeah, from every panel to that one.
Leading
It's most
lines.
important. Yes, I'm glad you noticed
lines.
that. Thank you. Thank you, Cole.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So, yeah, let's just kind of wrap up with some closing thoughts.
Okay.
Thoughts. Do you have any closing thoughts?
The only closing thought that I have is that definitely this next, I want to call it next sequence. It's not really a scene.
Mm-hmm.
Is setting up chain of events, kind of like a cause and reaction type deal, you know. So just like recap, it's they snuck out. They're not supposed to be there. Emma's gonna go get buttons,
and something's gonna happen.
and that's where I stop talking.
Spoiler stuff happens.
Spoiler alert. You know.
Well, my remark is that, man, it feels good to be doing this again.
At first,
so
like, I'll just totally be honest, for like a while, I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to help Keenan anymore, because it takes too much time away from what I want to do or whatever. But then, like, when I just see him, like, working on this, like, I just get so hyped, and I can't, like, stay away from it. Yeah. So I'm just like, what if, like, you know, something like this, and he's like, oh, yeah, and then next thing you know, he's like, hey, I need your help, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I was, like, sold on it again, you know, because it's been a while, like, I think it's one of those things, like, when you don't work on it for so long, it's almost like a back burner. I don't know if you can, like, speak for yourself.
No, totally.
On this.
Yeah,
like, you don't feel the same about it. And
I had a similar feeling where it was like, I think I talked about this on a recent daily, but I asked myself, okay, look, what is actually the number one priority for me? And it is creating the comic. But the problem is that I wasn't doing this. I wasn't setting it as my first priority. And this is something that's constantly been happening, is that the comic always has this way of just getting kind of pushed to the back. Because, you know, it's so easy to say, oh, well, I need to do this and this. You know, I have responsibilities, you know, now that I'm working for Riot again. So that needs to be first. But what I found is working really well for me is when I wake up in the morning, I just wake up a little bit earlier, like 2 hours earlier than when I normally start work. And I just work on the comic first thing in the morning. And it's been really, really awesome. And it just feels so good to get that part of my life in order in the very beginning. It's like doing a good workout in the morning. You know, obviously I can't work out because I'm busy making comics. Comic artists don't work out. Yeah, right? They look like this. Comic artists look like this. They barely shave. They only shave on the weekends when they go out with their friends. Yeah. But yeah.
I think it's easy to, like, put it on the back burner because that's always going to be there. Like, it's your thing. You own it. Like, it can never go away. So you don't want to spend as much time on it. Like, I definitely know, like, with my stuff that I've been working on, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, do I really need to make a video? Like, I'll just wait till tomorrow. But, like, obviously you have a job. It's like, oh, this needs to be done right now. But Emma, you know, is almost like it's your job as well as mine, you know, so we need to just do
it's always going to be there. And I'm confident. I knew when I started this thing, I knew I was going to finish it. Like, Emma has already become so much that I can't stop it.
Yeah, exactly. If you made, like, the first issue, you'd be like, all right, you know, like, whatever. But,
you know, I will finish it, even if we have to, like, pull out some quick or some rushed ending. Yeah, we have to rush the ending. It'll be finished.
We have a predicted any scenario ending
planned out.
Planned out.
But yeah.
So I think
if things keep going the way they are, then I mean, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, good things are coming. Look forward to some new stuff.
Yeah, got some good stuff coming out. And yeah, it's good to be back in the game. It's good to be making comics again.
Feeling hype.
I hope you guys are enjoying it. I know I certainly am. I know Colton's in his element, so I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm on an energy wave.
Yeah, he's on an energy wave. He's riding an energy wave. So. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in to the Director's Commentary. I'm Kenan Lafferty.
I am Colton Kresser.
We'll see you guys next time.